Welcome to Disclosures with Peter the Insider and Jessica Arael Morocco. The ACIO has a long history of helping humanity from the deep recesses of time. This is the first time the ACIO has become available to the public, aside from an earlier visitation by their 15th Division, the Wingmakers. Peter the Insider, originally from Slovakia, is the director of their 12th Division, and Jessica Arael Morocco is in Cicada 3301, their 6th Division. Together, they provide intel, insights on current events, a deeper perspective on aliens and UFOs, super soldier missions with Unit 374 in the Merge, and news relevant for disclosure. Don't forget to subscribe to keep updated with our latest intel and post any questions and comments below.
Hello everyone, and thank you for joining us today on Disclosures. I'm here joined with Peter the Insider. We're going to do another update regarding Peter being on the border of Slovakia and trying to hold back whatever is going on right now in this total war scenario. So without further delay, we're going to bring Peter the Insider in and give us the update.
So I want to say hello to you, Jessica, and to all of our regular and maybe not so regular listeners.
Well, it's great to have you here, Peter, because we've been concerned about what's going on over there, and we know that that's definitely a major problem. And we would like to know maybe an update of any status regarding the shadow group.
Yeah, they are getting even stronger and stronger, because we've got a problem. And give me a second, I'm talking like big problem. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In Czech Republic, there are three identical objects called Javor. 50, 51, 52. They were built in between 1966 and 1969. And the whole situation is like Czech government, Czech military, they don't know, that actually all three of them are active, because it looks like all of them are in very bad condition. Do you know what I mean? And everything. And they don't know one thing. It is just a cover, because they can go much deeper. And all of those three objects are active and extremely modern, just by the way.
So Javor, which is, I think you spelled it as Javor or Yavor, which is
Javor. It is Javor,
Javor, and that is in Slovakia or Czech Republic.
In Czech Republic, yeah.
And so then there's what was an active warhead or an atomic?
No, warheads, multiple warheads,
okay.
Multiple. Okay. That's big problem.
Well, explain to us how it is a problem.
Because Russians, they've got still the warheads, atomic warheads. Do you believe it is not a problem?
No, it's definitely a problem.
Just by the way, Javor, because it is how it is written, it is Javor, okay? But in our languages, you need to pronounce it Javor, okay? And it means maple, as a tree. Do you know what I mean? Tree. Yep, exactly. Give me a second. We are talking about like three objects, okay? Three. 50, yep. 51, and 52, okay? That's important. And they don't know it. They don't know What I'm kind of in shock, to be perfectly honest, that they don't know one important stuff, that you need to go to check Wikipedia, and you will see in between years in Czechoslovakia, CSSR, okay, in between years 1966 and 1969, 3 objects were identical, were built. Look, Javor 50, Javor 50, okay, in southwest of Bliny, 51. Give me a second. 8 kilometers. It means 5 miles. Then Javor 51. It is what it is, 2.5. It is like 1.7 miles away northly from Borovno. It is a small village. And then you've got, where the heck it is, 90 second, yeah, and it is Javor 52, 4 kilometers, what is like 2.5 miles north of Biela. That it's small village, you know, in former army installation called Ralsko. Okay, and all the people in Czech Republic, and this is it, not only politicians, but even army officers, and I mean highest ranked one, they believe that it is abandoned. And in, I think it is like 151. It was the most, let's say, how can I call it properly, in the best condition, and they built atomic museum, right?
Right.
And none of this is true. I'm just, you know what I mean. None of this is true because all of them are, you know what I'm trying to say, still active, and people, they don't know it. I don't understand how in the world they don't know that for more than 34 years. So this is it, that it is still not only active, but operable. It is still capable of operating. And I don't know how in the world they don't know it. So AKA Russians, they've got still atomic warheads, nuclear warheads. I don't know how in the world they don't know it. It's kind of weird for me.
I think people know that this, because I think that Putin has been saying he's amping things up right now. And I do have
Jessica, please, this is completely different story. We are not talking about right now. They still were. They officially came out, give me a second, from former Czechoslovakia. We were one state at the time in 1990. But they always were maintaining those 3 objects, despite, or let's say call it military installations, despite they were officially abandoned. Jessica, this is different story.
Right.
Completely different story.
But isn't that the case for a few, like, different places around the world, that they look like they're abandoned, but they're still active?
Of course. Soviets are, I mean, Russia, because that's like, nah, there is no Soviet Union anymore and all kind of that stuff. Believe me, this is not the case. Many places all around the world like that. Just by the way.
Absolutely. And now tensions up right now, so there are a lot more players involved at what's happening military wise right now. than people realize, essentially.
Yeah, you are right. But I'm just saying, do you know what I mean? This is not no joke. This is serious situation.
Yep. No, it's a very serious situation. And so what has been happening, because the last time we talked, there were discussions regarding the shadow group, and they're leveraging, of course, they're on both sides. They're over there. There's the tension between Putin and Zelensky, trying to hold the ground and see who's going to make this effort. There's also articles about Putin saying that he's targeting the United States because they feel that the United States is involved. There's also information about, I think Zelensky or someone was accusing China of helping helping Putin. And so there's a lot of different things.
I will tell you something, okay? If China will help or is helping out Russia, I mean that actively, they will win war like in 1 week. Believe me. Because
Right.
they've got that high capacity, I mean manufacturing capacity, army and everything. China is way too smart to do such a crap. Believe me.
And then simultaneously,
they don't have such a protocol, okay? They don't have such a protocol because it is like, look, I don't know which kind of knowledge do you have about civil war in Greece, in 1960s and 70s. But if you are either state, I mean a country, or businessman, it doesn't matter if you are rich and successful. If you help certain regions of the world or maybe certain groups inside the country, other politicians, other states, other countries, other regions of the world don't like, you are getting this very bad label, quote unquote, toxic, and nobody wants to make business with you. And for this, I mean, like, maybe you, Jessica, and maybe you listeners are like thinking, what the heck is Insider talking about? That was the fall of Aristoteles Onassis, okay? Because he worked with, quote unquote, bad guys in Greece in 1960s and 70s. And nobody wants, I mean, onwards, after it ends, the madness, if we want to call it that way, ends. Nobody wanted to make business with him because he had this label, toxic, period. It is pretty much like if somebody collaborated with Nazis, period. Do you know what I mean? Nobody wants to have anything in common with those people. Or did those companies, do you know what I'm trying to say, and all kind, and that's it, okay? It's like China, it will be way too bad, no matter how bad they really want to help Russia, okay? They are way too smart in order to do such a stuff, because it will be end of their like business and everything, and that's the problem. So many people are saying like, nah, Insider is defending Russia and all kind of that stuff. Russia is the aggressor, period, end of discussion. But there is one thing, okay, that the tension was very bad, and NATO, I don't want to say official army or armies, but let's say paramilitary soldiers, so like private army, trained by NATO armies, you know, I mean NATO members countries armies, they went to this Donbass section, what is pretty much like war, what is going on in like yes, you can see that, yeah, look, it is like we are talking about 10 years, more than 10 years, you know what I mean, it is not no joke, if you like it or not, it is no joke. And you know, it's like, how can I say it, it is like you asked for it. Do you know what I'm trying to say? I don't know if you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I mean, they're leveraging, they're going back and forth.
Yes,
and it's
it is pretty
starting to
much like
elevate.
like Hamas. They attacked Israel, okay, but there is DMZ, what means demilitarized zone, okay, and those people, they've got these kibbutzes. Kibbutz is some sort of very specific type
Settlement.
of, or how can I say it, settlement, some sort of village. And those people, it was their traditional place. They were moved out violently when, or let's say once DMZ, once again, demilitarized zone, started to exist. But then, I don't know how it happened, but Israeli government said, feel free to return back. So civilians just get back where they were originally from. But there is a problem. It was international deal. Okay, and they broke the deal. Do you know what that? And it was pretty much something like, you know, in 1994 in Hungary, in Budapest, capital city of Hungary, it was signed international deal that, okay, you, I mean, sorry, what?
Like a peace agreement, like a NATO peace agreement?
Yes, but give me a second, not only that. You can move all of your atomic weapons from Ukraine back to the Russia once integrity of Ukraine will be okay forever, like good for good, okay? But there were certain parts of Ukraine, they are, let's say, that, or they were, they are, and they still will be a matter of discussion. And it is this, or let's say they are those two ones. Donbass, this big, you know, strip on very far east of Russia, Donbass, and Crimea Peninsula, you know. And this is it. It is like, this is yours. Nah, this is ours. Do you know what I'm trying to say? No, ours. And it is like, what the heck? Because pretty much, there was no room for discussion once it was one huge country. It was pretty much like empire, Soviet Union. Do you know what I mean? So it absolutely doesn't matter. Nobody just absolutely doesn't care Donbass, if it is Russian or Ukrainian or Crimea. Nah, nobody. Nah, nobody just. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Nobody just care about that. You know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, you're crossing a line. It gets to a point where it elevates. Then there's one aggression that happens, and so from what I've read is that the weapons they're using long range weapons now, going deeper into the Soviet area, the Russian area,
No,
And
please,
so
not Soviet, Russian area, Russian.
Russian
There
area,
is no Soviet Union, but there
yeah.
is a problem. It's like, you know, you are right, but the same crap were Russians doing pretty much all the time towards Ukraine, you know. So it's like, just by the way, Russia started the war at all. You know, it's like, I'm just
Well,
saying, you know.
here is now, all right, so this is where what I was talking about earlier. Russia's deploying air and sea assets for military exercises in the Caribbean. Now that's a far away from the Ukraine, is and they're for military exercises in the Caribbean, and so they're settling in over there, obviously, in an aggression. And then there was someone else was going over to Havana, and in that region over there in Cuba. Yeah, here it is. Naval vessels in Cuba and possibly Venezuela. So official says administration expects Moscow will conduct heightened naval and air activity near the United States, and that will likely include port calls by combat naval vessels in Cuba and possibly Venezuela, two longstanding Russian allies that have been occasional visits from Russian naval assets in the past 2 decades. The exercises may also include aircraft deployments and flights in the region, as the official said. So, and they suspect that Cuba approved the Russian port call, at least in part, over the incident last year in which the U.S. nuclear submarine docked at Guantanamo Bay naval base, angering the Cubans, a second U.S. Official said. So the Russia has sailed ships into the Western Hemisphere every year from 2013 to 2020 and has set flights through the region that have violated the airspace of the U.S. allies, but anticipated activity would be coordinated air and sea exercises in kind since 2019 during the Trump administration, the official noted. We expect that, as is predictable, the Russians will amp up information space with this, and both to make a point and unsettle us, the official said. We're not particularly concerned. It's something that we've done before. It's messaging for the Russians. This is about Russia showing they are still capable of some naval power projection, and the official added, we should expect more of this activity going forward. So they're expanding, they're leveraging, and this is what they're doing publicly. We're not talking about what that part is hidden, right? What's behind the scenes is some of the information that you're providing for us, Peter.
Yeah, but look, I don't wanna, once again, I don't wanna defend Russia, okay? But one thing, okay? It's like how many wars US is leading right now, and they led for decades, and nobody is saying nothing bad about that. You know what I mean? This is let's say what I've got problem with, and I mean big problem, okay? Because it is like, this is my, how can I say properly, main concern of quote unquote uniformity. Like, you know, you need to celebrate Valentine, you need to celebrate this and that. Why in the world I should if you are Christian or something like that, why in the world your Christmas presents need to be brought by Santa? Nah, not a big deal. For so many people, for me it is a big deal. I've got my you know, integrity. No, but give me a second. Neither Santa, but neither Granddad Moroz, okay, Ded Moroz in Russian, okay? No, I want to have my own stuff. I don't want to have Halloween, okay? I want to have peaceful and quiet All Saints. Do you know what I mean? I don't like to have Halloween. This is it. I don't have any problem. Americans be Americans, okay? But get the heck out and do it on your own soil. Do you know what I mean? On your own land. This is my problems with Americans, that they are saying that only what they are making and having is the right way how to live, how to do it. That's my problem. But give me a second. The Russians the same. Why in the world one nation? I'm not talking about Americans. Neither Americans, neither Russians. Nobody. Why in the world somebody should say what is right and what isn't? Try to get, Jessica. Okay, you will be from small country. You get raised in small country. For 4 decades, you was under dictatorship of one side, one part of the world, and now it is not official, okay? But you do everything like, okay, how great America is, I mean, US and all kind of that stuff. For me, it's sensitive topic because I hate that. Why in the world every single nation in the world should have their own integrity in the first place and identity in the second place? That's my question. Do you know what I mean? That's the reason why I don't like that. I don't like it.
It's obvious though, Peter, and this is something that, you know, as an American and someone that grew up in an area that there were constant immigrants coming in. I lived in Massachusetts. We probably took in more immigrants than any other place in the country aside from New York City. And you know, it's always been a haven for people, which also brought their different cultures and their different belief systems. And so they try to find and fit in those belief systems, which they did. Even different belief systems. We had a governor that was a Mormon that came in, and Massachusetts was not necessarily Mormon, but suddenly we have Mitt Romney. Not only he even moved into my home.
Give me a second. Mormons, aren't they in Utah, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah, but it's just a whole belief system. So everyone's predominantly, you know, a certain belief system is a larger group. But I'm just saying that the diversity has always been something that I'm fully aware of, and something that as a child we adapted to. And when someone came in, we weren't pointing our fingers and saying, and the reason why our region was good at this is that we didn't accuse people of being bad because they were different. We were like,
but
that's interesting.
But give me a second. Try to comprehend it from another way, okay? It's like if you've been from small country with its own history, rich history, centuries old history, its own traditions, you know, and somebody just step inside and will dictate you what you should do and what you shouldn't. And just by the way, and you will say like, you are defending Russians, I mean Soviets. It was quote in quotes official that, okay, that was, I don't want to say dictator regime, let's say totalitarian regime, and it was official, period. But no, now they are hiding behind democracy, but they are claiming that everything what is from West is good, and everything what is from East, and I'm not talking about Russia in particular, from China, for example, from India, it's absolutely wrong. It's like it's worst thing possible, and I don't like this. Okay.
I don't know. There's lots of Indians in this country, and there's settlements.
No, I'm talking about my region, when I am originally from. Well, and a lot of people don't like it, and a lot of people don't like it.
I think, Peter, that we come from different experiences, and because of that, we have, like you said, we have traditions and things that we feel were very important to us, and we wanted to have these experiences. We don't want to change anything. And I know that your country was forced to change many different things, going back and forth between the influence of whether it was Germany, Austria, or Russia.
And that's the problem. They want to erase everything. They want to erase our traditions. They, for example, Hungarians, but I don't even try to describe how bad it was between Czech people and German people. It was crazy. They
Well, yeah,
hate Germans. They hate Czechs. They underestimated them. They are like they are just ants or something like that. And during Second World War, it was horrible. It was
I know,
horrible.
I know.
Give me a second. I'm just saying, and that's the problem. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. I'm just trying to describe you how bad we suffered. Okay, it was crazy during. I don't know. For example, during last 100, 120, 30, 150 years, it was crazy. You can be happy pretty much that instead of having civil war, you lived in quite peaceful environment in US,
Yes,
you know.
it did.
But
No, yes.
I'm just saying, do you know what I'm trying to say? It is absolutely crazy, and not so many people all around the world are aware of that, of let's say history of Middle Eastern part of Europe. You know, they don't know a lot of about it. I'm just saying.
I have a friend from Serbia, and I asked him, I said, tell me about your food. You know, what's the food that's really popular there? And he said, I'll be honest with you. He said, we used to have our own food, but it is now a combination of what others have brought in when they took over our nation. So we don't even remember what our original food recipes and that kind of thing.
I will tell you why. I will tell you why. Because I don't want to say, because give me a second. It is historical connection, and nowadays Turkish people have absolutely nothing to do with the past. But during Ottoman Empire, it was absolutely crazy, and they were that invasive that only in the Wien, you know, they were stopped, and so many people prayed to Holy Mary about that in the main street, you know, it is Maria Hilfestrasse. That means in German, Mary Helper Street in German. Do you know what I mean? Because if they will, if Ottomans will conquer Vienna, I don't know. They will pretty much will be unstoppable. You know, I'm just saying. And so they pretty much deleted the whole, I don't know, cultural and historical identities of so many nations, for example, in Balkan region. As you said, Serbs, as you said, Serbians.
Yeah, Serbs, and also that, you know, they still, you know, have their traditional clothing and their traditional dance that they really hold on to, and a lot of these elements of culture that was attacked. And I even know that, like, prior to communist China, they did the same thing. They stripped a lot of the original culture, and so the people would forget over the generations, and they try to neutralize things.
But I will tell you why. Because they are communists. They don't have any sort of, because, for example, okay, what is the main difference between communism and capitalism? I'm talking about ideology. If you work hard, capitalists absolutely doesn't care about your culture. They leave it alone, okay? But communists, they hate not only, how can I say it, like religion. They hate tradition. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
This is it. any sort of like folk traditions and everything. No, that's not good for them. Nope.
I'm going to give you another example of this too, which people don't even think about. But there was an influencer from Boston, and she has a very strong Bostonian accent, and people were making fun of it. Okay, so well, they were.
Give me a second. Why? Give me a second. Why?
Because she's got a very strong Bostonian accent.
So give me a second. You mean like New England-ish stuff?
Yeah, I mean it's a combination of what happened. We were settled by England, so the accent, and then with other influences of different cultures like the Irish and the Italian or whatever that came in, created this New England accent. And then this kid from, I think he was from Texas or something like that, and he's like, well, why doesn't she talk like everyone else? You know, we're in the internet now, and everyone should sound the same. And he said that, and I was like, he's like in his 20s, and he was criticizing how people talk in other areas, and he's saying, well, maybe if you were old, it's okay to sound like that, but not now. There's no excuse for it. Yeah. And I was like, I can't.
Give me a second. Give me a second. Please just say me that you are kidding me. Please tell me that you are kidding me.
So they want to amalgamate. I think that's one of the.
But give me a second. This is it. What I'm talking about. I don't have any problem with Americans, but I don't want to say common people, but let's say officials. What I've got problem is they don't want wipe out the traditions. Do you know what I mean? For example, no matter about Islam and all kind of that stuff, I mean Muslims, okay? But I hated one thing. Once American army go to certain missions, very first thing what they are making, or what they ever made, they destroy all the old temples and everything,
right?
Because they have no way, they have no clue that this is a sacred place and everything, and I don't care if Americans will hate me about it for this, because it is true. I was in those missions, okay? And I will tell you something. So many people, many of them were just following the orders, period. But another group, they were making fun from that. And I was like, I don't know if it is good idea to make fun from sacred place, because it will end up bad for you. And believe me, those people get nuts. Not because of war, but evil entities started to haunt them. Do you know what I mean?
This has been going on for thousands of years, Peter. You can see that there were statues of Buddha that were cut down, that there were Egyptians images that were cut down, that there were things in China that were destroyed. There's a lot of history that's been removed.
Why somebody will do such a stupid crap like that?
Well, because they want to change the history. They only want people to remember them. There's even the whole Tataria thing where, the Tatarians were more of I don't know if it was Turkish or Slavic or Caucasian. And
Caucasian,
then
Slavic Caucasians, Tartaria, they were Slavic, yeah.
But when you see the images, they look like they're, from Mongolia.
Give me a second. Tatars, and Tartarians, and I will tell you, Mongols were or are Tatars, okay, but Tartars, that means mixed in between ancient Russians, so ancient Slavic, and ancient Mongolians, just by the way.
Right. And so, but they, when you see some people claim that they changed the history at that point, Genghis Khan did that way back then, that
Yeah,
he wanted to wipe out the history of the other tribes. And this is something that's been going on for thousands of years, and they're still doing it because they don't want individuality. They want conformity to whatever system that they're introducing.
This is exactly what I'm talking about all the time.
Right.
This is exactly.
And then I believe that this is not a human attribute to want to do this, but actually a galactic or an astral agenda. What do you think?
Do you know what? Actually, that will make sense. That will make sense. But go back, because we went way too sidetracked. We went way too sidetracked. But do you know what I mean?
I like connected, yes.
But give me a second. I like that we are having, how can I say it, like free topics. I don't need to be just hate halt on topic. I don't like that. Long story short, this is very bad news bears, pretty much, that they've got atomic warheads in Czech Republic, you know, and this bad.
Okay, there's something else that I want to share with you. This right here. There was this train collision that we brought up that happened in the Czech Republic, because you said, now this looks like that was created. Why don't you tell me what happened here?
Pretty much two trains collided to each other. 380 people on board in one train. 4 dead, 26 heavily injured, or let's say seriously injured, another mid-injured, another 40 mid-injured, and 80 just easy injured. But there is one problem. Second train was cargo train, and it was transporting secret weapons, or let's say warfare of next generation warfare of mass destruction weapons. And I was like, holy crap, if this, what it was transporting, will go out to the air and it will pollute the air, it will be crazy.
So just like the attack on the prime minister, is this something as well where they're trying to pressure the Czech Republic and Slovakia, and also they went after the Slovakian, the Czech PM as well too, didn't they?
Yeah. No, not PM. President.
President. Okay. So that it's an effort. They're putting pressure in that region right now. And
yeah, give me a second. I will tell you who. Shadow Group. Yeah. Look at that. That is crazy. That is crazy. Yeah. Look at that.
Yeah, 73 miles east of Prague.
Yeah. But they faked the whole news because second train was cargo train.
Yeah, well then they're not going to allow that kind of information come forward.
Of course not.
But we've had multiple situations of trains being colliding in the United States too. So this might be the same ones, right? The modus operandi of, what's happening.
Absolutely. But give me a second. American Chernobyl, you are calling it like that. I mean, mainstream media in US, and it was train crash in Ohio, with very dangerous chemical compound.
Yeah.
So not any other way, but specifically train crash. Am I right?
Yeah, but you're right. I mean, it's been an effort. Bridges, they've done quite a bit to try to create this level of chaos, distraction. but also pollution and also weaponry, to launch something that would kill people or at least disable them to some degree and contaminate the area. So in this case, they were trying to create some kind of explosion from that car.
Yes, you are right.
And fortunately, that didn't happen. But this is the tensions that we're talking about. So do you have any information on which one was involved in this? Was this Peter Toth that did this?
Yes, that's the problem, geez.
And who is he collaborate? Is he collaborating with Putin or with anyone else, or with Zelensky? Or who's he collaborating?
Of course not. Neither Putin, neither Zelensky. They've got their own, let's say, interests. It is normal. I don't want to say it is normal, but do you know what I mean for them?
Yeah, it's normal for them, but so we have tensions between Russia, Ukraine, we have tensions in the Middle East, and then we have another agenda that's going on, playing everyone against each other, is with the shadow group. And so just to remind everyone,
literally everyone against everyone. I mean, literally, okay? Oh my God.
So for those of you that are not familiar, here are the operatives right now that we know that we're dealing with. Peter, you're dealing with Peter Toth right now.
This is absolutely crazy, jeez.
Territories. So have you had any further encounters with him, just as an update?
Yeah, I will tell you, he's crazy. He's so like nasty. It's like, nah. Do you really believe you are smarter than me? It was so crazy.
And then what did you say to him?
I was like, maybe not smarter. Maybe not. But I've got more patience than you. That I said to him. Let me give me a second, literally, okay?
And then what did he say?
Nah, I don't know. That was absolutely crazy. Oh yeah.
All right, so and then let's take a look at what else is going on. So now this is happening, right? Israel is gearing up for Lebanon war as the IDF reaching decision point. This was in June 5th in 2024.
Yeah, I don't know what the heck. I mean, even pulling Lebanon in the war, yeah, not good idea. No. I don't like it.
It's obvious they're trying to expand.
Yeah, at least from my point of view, no logical reason to do so.
No.
Yeah.
Is this Ben Seka who's still over there?
Yep.
Or
Yep. I mean, give me a second, both of them. I'm just saying.
So this is Israel's on fire in response to Israel's burning of olive trees in Lebanon with white phosphorus. Hezbollah is burning the Israeli settlements in the north. If we burn, you burn with us. So that's I think you were mentioning this earlier about the kibbutz, right?
Yep.
So this is serious stuff. I mean, we like you said, there's certain regions like the United States, we have been protected from having to deal with this stuff. Imagine this is your backyard,
You are goddamn right.
There are people, that there's a lot of tensions between the Palestinians and the Jews. And of course, we don't take a stance on either because we're here universally for everyone. And I know that, Peter, you try to explain, so that we don't favor the United States, but and I think a lot of
I don't favor neither. I don't favor US, Russia, who the heck? Nobody. UK, China, nobody.
We just want to see peace, and we don't want to see this antagonistic leveraging in power.
I absolutely don't understand the whole crap. I mean, all of us, look, all of us are just people. If you like it or not, we are just people.
Yeah, and you're doing your best to try to, if the shadow group was removed, do you think that would have a major impact on the peacefulness of our situation?
Don't know.
At this point, maybe it's too elevated, but like you said, one's accusing the other, and at this point, people are very angry. And it would be such a horrible thing to. I know that some of these military agendas are to really destroy another culture, and I don't know. I think the whole thing's wrong. So, where do we go from here?
That's a question. I mean, I don't quite like. Just by the way, very important stuff. You can't get it on let's say in any mainstream media. What happened in it was 2 weeks ago, something like that, 23rd, 24th May, the test jet fighter for specific missions. They are calling it officially jet fighter, but I don't want to call it that way because it is like specific hypersonic airplane. I don't, because it was derived from jet fighter, okay, but it is a hypersonic airplane developed in Turkey for under radar altitudes, like exploring flights, and it crashed in middle Turkey in very complicated terrain. Why I'm talking about this? Because they performed this test flight despite. Okay, long story short, there were Czech and Slovak instructors, there, and they strongly hesitate to perform the test flight. Very young pilot and co-pilot, pilot 27, co-pilot 25 years old, died by this accident. What is the worst part of it? If it was, quotes in quotes, regular accident, then let's say screw that. Why I'm talking about it? Because somebody / something somehow opened the portal, and pretty much once there is a portal, okay, or gateway, passageway to another reality, timeline, context of existence, call it as you like, you've got only two ways how to react. Either you will go in this way, fly through the portal. What will be bad news bears for them, because they will be gone forever. But I will tell you what was their case. I mean, those pilots' case in this accident. They literally were rejected by the portal, and they were, yeah, this is what I'm talking about.
So I found it. Okay, good.
Yeah, this is it. May 7th, it was the first flight, yes. But I will tell you what happened. They were some sort of reflected You know what I mean? Reflected by the portal. You know, if you like, you will throw something to the wall and it will jump, you know, and this is exactly what happened. It is absolutely crazy, isn't it?
So is that because they didn't have permission to go through the portal, or where were they going in the portal? Was that intentional?
And that's the problem. Nobody knows that portal was
Existed?
there. Yeah.
Okay.
It
Let's
is
see if they show.
absolutely crazy.
I think they're just going to show the vehicle here.
The aircraft, yeah.
Yeah. So, and then what happened once it was rejected or bounced off of the
Bounced
portal?
off. Pretty much what happened. They don't know because everything happened according my information. Everything happened very, very fast, and I mean super fast. They believed that they've got specific system. Okay. I mean navigation system, and they believed like, okay, we need to speed it up. That means like they use forsage. It is specific mode of jet engines in such airplanes. You can go up to from 200 to 500% of standard maximum, you know, capacity for a very short period of time. But what happened? Give me a second. What happened? They believed that they will go higher. But I will tell you what happened. The system went to malfunction, and they literally flied to the valley super fast, and they crashed to the small village, and approximately from 50 to 60 people, I mean, you know, inhabitants of this village died. You know, it was absolutely crazy, and nobody's talking about it. Nobody's talking about it.
Yeah, they don't provide a lot of information, or especially something that they can't explain, which then is not news, then, is it? Because then the people are not aware that there are that type of activity, but also they feel that they want to be have it become private, their knowledge of this portal that, you know, supposedly they may at some point want to go back in the future to maybe explore it, right?
Yep, exactly.
And does the ACIO have a knowledge of this portal? Is this like from the ancient Sumerians or?
Yeah, ancient Sumerians. You get it exactly. Exactly. Yep.
Because there's I did receive another article.
But I want to ask you, Jessica, what is interesting, or let's say so important in ancient Sumerian area? They've got such a tremendous amounts of wisdom and knowledge. What do you think? Are they, or let's say, because they still exist, but in another context of existence. Okay, that's important.
What? Not
So
only
give me a second, okay? Give me a second, please. Were they connected? I mean, spiritually, mentally, with higher level entities, or what was their deal?
Yeah, I think they're definitely visitors. They were one of the many visitors that came here on the earth, but for some reason, they're in certain communities, people are hyper fixated on the Sumerians because they have a bit of information, so they feel like they know everything about it. But the ancient Sumerians were just like many other cultures. There were the Phoenicians, there were the Akkadians, there were beings that came from that introduced to China. to South
Give me a
America.
second, please. Give me a second.
Egyptians.
This is important. This is important. What can you say me about Akkadians? Because we got a lot of info in our database, in ACIO database, about Akkadians, Akkadians.
Well, there were another group that came at the same time around. They were there around the time of the ancient Sumerians as well as the Anunnaki. See, the Anunnaki, everyone's like, let's build this huge narrative around the Anunnaki out of theory and taking bits and pieces of information, almost like, you know, they could create a Bible on it, you know, like they have this whole big narrative of it because they have some of the books and information, so they feel that they understand fully. And the other thing is they affiliate the Anunnaki specifically with us, which is really bizarre because we have the ACIO has been involved with all the different early introductions of space visitors from different regions of the world, not just the Anunnaki, but for some reason they want to, first of all, say how bad the Anunnaki were. Second of all, that the Anunnaki had manipulated the genetics of humanity, but we're doing that right now too, by the way. But these are not Anunnaki.
In very nasty way, just by the way.
Right. I mean, I don't know what extent that the Anunnaki did it to help us or to harm us, like they're trying to harm us now. But there are other cultures that have done this, but they still want to, you know, fixated on it. I think maybe it makes them feel intelligent or that they're more knowledgeable because they can introduce or link us to an ancient society, but we were not necessarily linked to that one society. We had the ACIO has a record of all the societies, all the different off-world civilizations that came in and had an influence on the planet, right? So
exactly. You get it, right? Yeah.
And it might take another 10 years for people to wrap their head around the fact that we are
not 10, maybe 100. Who the heck knows?
Maybe 100 years for someone to actually say, "Oh, wait a minute. So let me get it. You guys are not part of the Anunnaki." I mean, I will be thrilled when someone finally gets that. I don't know. This is a very hard learning lesson for those that are still trying to figure it out, or, you know, that they've done a very good job with this lie, you know. But anyhow, there's also this association, which I can see why that they have linked it with the NAZIs. So here is this article, right? And we're going to get back to the Akkadians, Peter, but I'm going to just share this article really quick.
Okay.
So they found this ancient Mesopotamian Hadi, it's called, two-headed bird of prey, which we know that this goes way back, just like the swastika, right?
Oh my God.
Ancient, there's tons of symbols that have been passed on from one civilization to the next, which varied in meaning and had different types of regimes associated with it. So this was several infamous empires of early modern period, current modern period, bore curious insignia. The Byzantine.
But give me a second, but I will tell you something. Nazis, I will just call them as they were, not as they are, as they were. They didn't, how can I say it, make the whole stuff up, or they didn't create anything. They just, how can I say it, picked the wide variety different symbols, they mixed it together, and they believed it will give them power. And I will tell you something. It gave them power. But for example, swastika, you know, cross, okay?
Yeah.
They turn it opposite way as it should be. Because if they will turn it absolutely the same way, but opposite way, do you know what I'm trying to say? Like 45 degrees, but opposite
they
way.
tilted it on axis. Yeah,
yes,
they tilted it.
It will be perfect, but they screwed the way how they turned. You know what I mean? And that was the reason why they came fast, to the power so fast, but also the reason why they fell even faster. You know what I mean? And people don't
Yep.
want to talk about that.
No, absolutely, because you're tampering with something that goes back to the word Swasi occurs frequently in the Vedas. We're talking about ancient
We are
India,
talking about like
Sanskrit.
5,000 years old stuff, and nobody wants to acknowledge that. What the heck? Why?
But like you said, tilting it, and then here's this. We've talked about this many times before, but we'll continue so people can fully understand it. It's deliberately on a tilt in the 9th century, proving their time travel ability. So they did gain access to many different things, misused it, but also having the problems that go along with this. Even Zeus in we talked about Jupiter and how that they have the civilizations there, and that's another topic that we can bring up again, because we've been talking about it privately and the activity that's going on in Jupiter. But we're talking about these very Buddhist, all the different religions all go back to this, symbolizing the sun. But we're not, like I said, we're trying to help people to understand that these things exist, they pre-exist, and then one group breaks off and does something and shifts it for another type of energy, and they're able to do things, but there are
And we need to say it loudly, very bad energy. Okay, we need to say it as it was, very bad energy.
So now we're looking at another symbol, and this is this two-headed bird, what you see all over Europe, and many different cultures have that. I think even does it even show in the Czech Republic, Peter?
Of course, yep.
Yeah.
You are goddamn right. You are goddamn right.
So this goes, they said the Byzantine, Austrian, Russian empires all adopted the symbol of a mythical creature, a double-headed eagle, to show off their imperial control of such vast lands. But the reality is that the double-headed eagle's origins are far from modern. They trace to the most ancient societies, that of Mesopotamia. There's not a whole lot new on the sun, under the sun. They say in the Bible, there's nothing new under the sun. We are just going back and reaching for symbolism and structure and political powers, and a lot of these things that have been consistent, people are picking up and then reinventing or reestablishing, modernizing the style in some way, but essentially doing the same thing. So
absolutely, you get it. Yep.
So here is a cylinder seal that was popularized in Mesopotamia in the latter half of the 4th millennium BC, and has a unique pattern. The owner's name were often inscribed on the personal seal, would then be impressed into a malleable surface, creating the value of a signature or tessier. That looks like 211, or then rolled out into a clay tablet and mentioned animals, land, slaves. It was like a storybook, right? Distinctive seal with an impression to indicate its own identity and what exactly they owned. So here's the seal.
Yep.
And it was Babylonian, which we always end up coming back to Babylon, because this is the reason why people think we should be in a war, because they want to say the United States is ancient Babylon, or is a return of Babylon that should be destroyed according to the Bible. But the Bible has been altered in certain ways, and we don't really know what
give me a second. I will tell you why. I will tell you when it started to be altered. In the 4th century, when Christianity became obligated religion in ancient Rome, just by the way.
Was that Constantine? Is that it, Peter?
Yeah, exactly.
The first Roman emperor to convert to Christianity played a pivotal role in elevating the status of Christianity to Rome, decriminalizing Christian practices and ceasing Christian persecution. But also then they merged ancient Roman religion with it, because that's what they do. They take Christianity and then merge it with whatever the present religion was. That's why there's this conflict that you have with people are trying to look at the authenticity of certain things, and then you see other cultures are merged in, just like ancient Sumerian Easter is, or the story of Ishtar is Easter, but then it was converted into the Easter and the Passover and all that other stuff. But the ancient Babylonian already had it as a date, that was dedicated to the Anunnaki Ishtar, because she resurrected. So you have all of these different things that have been going on for a long time. And unless people are willing to fully understand, and then it's not that you're rejecting religion, but understanding that there has been some alterations, which then leads to the question is, as I said earlier, does that mean the United States is supposed to be destroyed? According to Revelation, if there was some tampering that had happened. And why are we, following through with some of these agendas, and then also even manifesting it and creating those scenarios? Meanwhile, all these other nations are getting attacked constantly, particularly the Middle East, where a lot of the hidden secrets are, right? And there's secrets
Yeah,
too.
but I will tell you something. Sorry, I am interrupting you a lot. I know it is impolite, but I need to say this to you, okay? As immediate, it was immediate, like just like that, like first reaction, subliminal. You are saying like this and that about, like you said, like secrets, and I will tell you something. I mean, like Middle Eastern secret. I will tell you something, okay? From my point of view, and according what I saw and what I experienced, there are not some, there are not few, there are plenty, there are many secrets. They should stay hidden. It is like, no, don't do that. It is like, it is playing with fire. If you are, do you really want to have matches, like, and you just scratch the match with, like, on top of the barrel full of gasoline? Nah, it's not a good idea. Or do you really want to open Pandora's box? No, it's not a good idea. No, it's not good.
Yeah, like they did with, they keep on just pulling apart all of these Egyptian sarcophaguses, and then they're surprised that we suddenly have a war that shows up afterwards, or that, a spirit is angered that you've tampered with their burial site. People start dying.
Because look, those spirits, okay, it's sacred place, it's holy place, period. No room for discussion, period. Bye, end of story.
Yeah.
Period.
Like someone going into a graveyard just digging up everything. I mean that's wrong. And I know that we're learning history, but are they caring for those things as they should? And they're using them because they know that it gets into power. Same thing with the Middle East. There's so many levels. I think I'm trying to remember, I don't know if it was Lebanon or one of those nations, where they know there's like multi levels of societies and civilizations buried underneath, and they just stopped unearthing it because they know that it opens things up. And also,
give me a second, I will tell you, they were, let's say, smart enough that they realized that it will be bad idea. just to continue,
It
as
is a
you
bad
said.
idea. Yeah. Or, at least have like people that are from another culture that really don't have the same regard or belief system going in and tampering with things. So they don't know that they're violating certain things. And so to be careful, it is good to see certain I love history. I think it's absolutely amazing that we are not the most civilized situation right now. We're not more civilized than anything that's happened before us. And they were extremely advanced. And like you said, they had technologies and things, but they knew how to use them.
Because if we invented something, okay? If we invented something, instantly we want to misuse it.
There was something that I wanted to share too. Take a look at this. Scientist claims human skeletons with radiation in buildings turned to glass are proof of 4,000-year-old nuclear war. 4,000 years ago. There's still radiation.
I believe that. Why in the world not? Why in the world not?
Fringe thinking scientist claims that there was a nuclear war 4,000 years ago and that humans were genetically modified by aliens to believe in deities. This is an article that
I have absolutely. Why I'm not surprised? That's my question. Why?
I guess Billy Carson and Joe Rogan had this discussion, but they're bringing a claim that the skeletons in Pakistan's Mohenjo-Daro, the archaeological dig, contain abnormally high levels of radiation. And so they said that the buildings turned to glass, the sand turned to glass. That's extreme heat that creates that, right? The bodies are lying on the street right now, and 4,000 years ago.
Why in the world I am not surprised?
He also, Billy Carson also referred to megalithic structures in South Africa known as Adam's Calendar and claimed that the carvings of this ruin allegedly tell us how these alien beings went to war. They also mentioned David Icke's ideas. A lot of people are really exploring this and trying to figure out. We can't discard this, that we keep on coming to this point. Are we going to nuke this planet? Are we going to completely?
Give me a second, please. You are saying, give me a second, please. You are saying to nuke this planet. And I will tell you something. Okay? You are saying, sorry, you are asking, are we nuke this planet? And I say, nah, this is not that perfect question. And you are maybe like, what? What are you talking about, Peter? I will say, okay, let's reformulate question. Are we nuke this planet again?
Again.
Do you know what I mean? And I will tell you what something, okay? What we know according ACIO's records, they were at least 12, yes, 1,000 atomic wars.
Wow.
Yes, wow. And I will tell you why this should be the late one. Sorry, this needs to be edited. And I will tell you why this should be the last one. Because there was a Jesus and 12 apostles. You know what I mean? So this will be the end of the end. Or let's say the end of the ends. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
So are you saying that their Jesus is here right now?
I don't want to say yes or no, because I don't want to say I don't believe, okay? I mean, like in God and everything, but it kind of looks like Judgment Day is very, very, very close. And give me a second. And this is no joke, okay? This is no joke.
And that's why you've been talking about Butcher Bay, because it's related to Butcher Bay in Jupiter, which we need to have more of a discussion about.
Yeah, it should. Do you know what? Actually, Butcher Bay. I don't know why so many people are calling it Butcher Bay instead of Butcher Bay. I don't know why.
An accent, maybe.
Maybe, who the heck knows? It is huge prison. You know what I mean? It's huge. Oh my god.
It comes from Escape from Butcher Bay and Riddick.
Yeah, you are right.
Yeah, soft disclosure that this exists, and this was established what, a couple thousand years ago, Peter?
Yeah.
Like,
oh no. Not couple thousands, couple millions years ago.
oh, really? Butcher Bay has been there for a very long time, and it's related to
I will
Jupiter.
tell you. Give me a second. I will tell you when it was established. Once Anunnaki split, or let's say split it to Elohims and Nephilims, so approximately 6 million years ago. Approximately. And there will be maybe for next show, very interesting show it will be, definitely.
Yeah.
It will be teaser. It will be teaser. And people should definitely see this video game. Definitely people should see this video game. Grey Hill Incident. I saw this video game. It is approximately 1 year old. And I was like, what in the world is that? I was like, it is crazy. What the heck is that? And I mean, we've got this case. I don't want to go into details. We can get into very in-depth details in next show. But
Okay.
once I saw this game, I was like, what in the world? What in the world? This is absolutely crazy. I don't want to talk about it anymore. It will be the teaser for next show.
Well, we'll put a little homework assignment if people want to look into Grey Hill Incident, and we'll talk about it next week. But also, here's information on the Acadians as well. And there's this guy. I've definitely seen this guy in action, Sargon of Akkad. He was also like a conqueror. So this is an interesting civilization as well. A lot of people don't talk about it. Well, they maybe, or either that, they mix it in with the Anunnaki. So
yeah, maybe. Who knows? Who knows?
Yeah, they were kind of existing around the same time. But how are we doing, Peter? I mean, is this?
No, I think we are good for this show.
Okay, so we will return, and we're going to address, of course, we'll talk about current events again, but also then we'll discuss the Grey Hill incident, because you said that that's a problem there. Anything else that we need to know about Turkey is, or anything else, the Czech Republic or Slovakia at the border, the shadow group?
Yeah, I think that's good. What do you think? The whole show was, I think, pretty fine.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, Peter, for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you too. It was very good. And Thank you. I want to say thank you, Jessica, for giving me another opportunity to be on your channel. I want to say thank you, our regular, maybe not so regular listeners, for patience that you still with us till the end of the show. Stay safe, stay fine, and I'm really looking forward for next time. Hold tight and bye-bye.
All right, and thank you, everyone. We'll keep you consistently updated, and if anything ever happens, we'll bring in another show. We'll bring in Peter if anything spontaneously needs to be checked in. Peter, what about, can we just ask quickly about the status of what happened out in Las Vegas? Are they helping to contain that area?
No, it should be for next show, I think.
Okay, well, we'll cover that in the next show for those of you that probably wanted an update. So thank you, everyone, for listening. Stay healthy, stay safe. If you listen to that show that we did have some health recommendations for people that live in that region, or just overall, people should be mindful of taking care of themselves at these very challenging times. So be well, and until next time, have a good day.
You have been watching Disclosures. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Visit www.acio-official.org and www.readingsbyarael.com to book a private session with Jessica. Feel free to support our work. All links can be found in the description. Thank you, and until next time.